Have you ever found yourself at the brink of giving up, convinced that success is just not meant for you? Today, we delve into the life of an individual who personified resilience in the face of adversity. A man named Colonel Harlan Sanders, the iconic founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken. In the early stages of Sanders' life, he was no stranger to hardship. At the tender age of 6, he lost his father, an event that drastically changed the course of his life. His mother was forced to remarry, leaving young Sanders with a cruel stepfather. Unable to bear his circumstances, he decided to drop out of school at the age of 12. His life seemed to be a series of unfortunate events, one after the other. Sanders' early years were far from what one would call a conventional beginning, yet they laid the foundation for the resilience that would define his life. But remember, adversity often breeds resilience. Did you know that failure can be the stepping stone to success? As we delve deeper into the life journey of Colonel Sanders, it becomes apparent that his path was not strewn with roses. Instead, it was a rocky road fraught with failures. These failures, though, served as stepping stones, shaping the man who would eventually create the world-renowned Kentucky Fried Chicken. After a string of job rejections, Sanders found himself as a ferry boat operator, but even this venture was short-lived. The company folded, and Sanders was left once again searching for his purpose. This failure, however, did not deter him. In fact, it fueled his determination, driving him to try his hand at another business venture. Next, he embarked on an ambitious journey to establish a lamp manufacturing company. In a world that was rapidly embracing electricity, Sanders had a vision of brightening every household with his lamps. But alas, the winds of fortune did not favor him. The company failed to take off, leaving Sanders grappling with yet another setback. Each of these failures, while disheartening, was a building block in Sanders' life. They were the chapters that made up his story, the lessons that shaped his future endeavors. And while the world saw him fail, Sanders saw himself learning, growing, and inching closer to his eventual success. At this juncture, it would have been easy for Sanders to succumb to despair, to let the weight of his failures crush his spirit, but that was not the path he chose. Instead, he chose to persevere, to keep moving forward, to continue dreaming. Because Sanders understood that failure was not the opposite of success, but rather a part of it. He knew that each failure was a lesson, a stepping stone that brought him closer to his goals. And so, he embraced his failures, learned from them, and used them as fuel to keep pushing forward. Yet, despite these failures, Sanders never lost his spirit. He knew that every setback was just a setup for a comeback, and he was ready to prove it to the world. His story is a testament to the power of perseverance, and a reminder to us all that success is not the absence of failure, but the ability to rise above it. What would you do if you hit rock bottom? Would you let it define you, or would you rise again? This was the exact question Colonel Harlan Sanders found himself grappling with at the age of 65. His life was riddled with failures and heartbreaks. His wife had left him, his career in the railroad industry had ended abruptly, and he was left with nothing more than a social security check and a lifetime of regrets. There was a point when the despair became so overwhelming that he even contemplated ending his own life. But in that darkest hour, something within him stirred. Instead of writing a final farewell letter, he began penning down his life's failures. As he inked each setback, each disappointment, he realized that his life was more than just a series of failures. It was a journey that had shaped him, taught him, and most importantly, it had led him to his passion, cooking. Cooking was his solace, his refuge. It was the one thing that brought him joy, the one thing he was genuinely good at. As he looked over his list of failures, he realized that his passion for cooking had been the one constant, the one thing that had never let him down. It was in this moment of revelation that Sanders decided to redefine his narrative. Instead of letting his failures define him, he chose to let them guide him. Instead of succumbing to despair, he decided to embrace his passion. He chose to look at his life not as a series of disappointments, but as a roadmap to his true calling. Sanders was 65, an age when most people think about retirement. But he was not most people. He was a man who had seen the worst life had to offer and had chosen to rise above it. He was a man who had chosen to turn his passion into his profession. And thus, at 65, Sanders embarked on a new journey. A journey that would lead him to create one of the most successful fast food chains in the world, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Can you imagine starting anew at 65? Sanders did. At an age when most consider settling into the twilight of their lives, Harlan Sanders was just getting started. Armed with nothing but a unique fried chicken recipe and a $105 Social Security check, he set out to change his life and the world of fast food forever. His goal was simple, yet ambitious: to sell his recipe to restaurants and earn a nickel for each chicken they sold. But the road to success was not a smooth one. Sanders faced rejection after rejection. His recipe, a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices, was turned down over 1,000 times. Can you imagine that? More than 1,000 doors slammed in his face, but Sanders was not deterred. He believed in his recipe, in its unique flavor, and in its potential to revolutionize the food industry. So he kept pushing, kept knocking on doors, kept cooking up batches of his fried chicken. His initial struggles were monumental. He lived out of his car, crisscrossing the country, cooking chicken with his portable pressure cooker in restaurant kitchens in exchange for a chance to convince the owners to buy his recipe. He slept in the backseat of his car, often surviving on the chicken he cooked. And amidst all these struggles, the recipe that was rejected over 1,000 times began to gain traction. One restaurant said yes, then another, and another. Slowly but surely the tide began to turn in Sanders' favor. His perseverance was starting to pay off. The rejections that once seemed insurmountable were now stepping stones to his success. His recipe was not just a mixture of 11 herbs and spices, it was a testament to his resilience, his unwavering belief in himself, and his relentless pursuit of his dream. And from this journey, a fast food giant was born, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or KFC as we know it today. But Sanders' determination was unyielding. His story is a testament to the power of resilience and a reminder that it's never too late to start anew. Ever wondered what perseverance can lead to? Well, let's delve into the remarkable triumph of Colonel Sanders. His journey of resilience began with a handshake with Pete Harmon, a businessman who saw potential in Sanders' finger-licking recipe. This contract marked the beginning of a new era for Sanders. His Kentucky Fried Chicken was not just a dish anymore. It was a brand, a symbol of taste and quality that was about to take the food industry by storm. It was the birth of a franchise that would soon cross borders and oceans, reaching every corner of the globe. KFC's growth was nothing short of meteoric. With Sanders at the helm, the restaurant expanded rapidly. In just a few years, it was not only a household name in America, but also across continents. From a single restaurant, KFC grew into an empire of over 6,000 outlets worldwide, serving millions of people. But the success of KFC is not just about numbers, it's about the spirit of entrepreneurship that Sanders embodied. Despite his earlier failures, he never stopped believing in his dream. He faced every challenge head-on, turning obstacles into stepping stones. His success was a result of his unwavering determination, his unyielding faith in his vision, and his relentless pursuit of excellence. Sanders became a symbol of entrepreneurial spirit, a testament to the power of persistence. He stood as an emblem of hope for every dreamer who faced rejection, every entrepreneur who stumbled upon failure, every individual who dared to dream big. The story of Colonel Sanders is not just about the creation of a global fast food chain, it's a story of triumph against the odds. It's a story of a man who, despite being on the brink of giving up, chose to fight, to persevere, to chase his dream. And so, he did not just create a brand, he created a legacy that continues to inspire millions around the world, reminding us all that it's never too late to start afresh. Sanders' story is a testament to the fact that it's never too late to start afresh. What does it mean to leave a legacy? For Colonel Harland Sanders, it was about turning a life marked by trials and tribulations into a story of tenacity and triumph. His journey, from despair and near suicide to the founding of one of the most recognizable fast food chains in the world, is a testament to his resilience. Sanders overcame adversity time and again, never allowing defeat to define him. Instead, he used it as fuel to push further, to strive harder, and to achieve greatness. His original recipe, the secret blend of 11 herbs and spices, is not just a culinary masterpiece, but also a symbol of his indefatigable spirit. Even after his death, his legacy lives on. Kentucky Fried Chicken, or KFC as we know it, continues to thrive worldwide, serving millions daily. Sanders' face, adorning every KFC outlet, is a global icon, a beacon of hope that it's never too late to start afresh. Remember, success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts.